Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Ace family, and more specifically Austin McBroom, and how he's just completely out of touch, and he tries way too hard to impress people and try to show off, and he just has no self-awareness. So if you didn't know, Austin's been going through a lot of controversy recently. He allegedly didn't pay some of the people that were working at the boxing match that he put on, and then also he's being sued by a few different people right now, and he could lose his house next month. People have speculated that his house is going into foreclosure, and next month it's going to be auctioned off, and it sounds like the Ace family might not have been paying their mortgage, and they could be in a ton of debt, which could easily be possible because it's pretty clear that these people are not very good with their money. Like, they live in a house that could cost like $20 million. Also, they have a bunch of really fancy cars that are probably worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they are very materialistic people. I mean, that's part of their content, is just showing off their lifestyle and showing off how much money they have. So even with all this controversy surrounding them and the fact that they could be in a ton of debt, they still want to flaunt their wealth as much as possible. But now Austin's gotten so desperate for attention and approval, it's just pathetic at this point. The other day, he put out this video titled "Dropping Elle Off to School in a Lamborghini," and it is probably the most tone-deaf video I've ever seen. Austin brings his 5-year-old daughter to school in a Lamborghini, and he expects all of her friends and classmates to run out and be all impressed by it and like check it out and be interested in it. But of course, none of the kids really give a shit because they're in kindergarten, and also I'm sure his daughter's going to a really high-end private school, so I would imagine that most of the parents there have a lot of money. So let's check out this video because this shit is pretty funny.
Besides, I'm gonna take Elle to school in a Lambo. I've always wanted to do that. It's one of my dreams. She's 5 now.
Now I do understand why it'd be fun to bring your kid to school in a nice car once in a while, but at this girl's age, this is just pretty ridiculous. Like, when you're her age, no one even gives a shit about cars. Like, I'd say if you want to do this, at least wait till middle school, probably high school. Like, that's when kids will actually give a shit. But he just seems way too excited to do this, and like his wife said, this is a dream of his. So it sounds like he took the first opportunity he got to do this, and of course it's all about him, and he doesn't actually sit there and think like, hey, my daughter's only in elementary school, like maybe it's not necessary right now to drive her to school in a Lambo. And also, you're probably just showing off to a bunch of other rich people, and you probably look like a tool. Like, imagine sitting there seeing a guy drive his 5-year-old daughter to school in a Lamborghini, and also his wife's right behind him in a Tesla for some reason. So like, they're just trying to make the biggest scene possible when they drop their daughter off to school. Like, he's driving an orange Lamborghini with his daughter in the passenger seat, his 5-year-old daughter, and then also his wife's right behind him in a pink Tesla, and they drop her off, and they're like trying to get everyone's attention and stuff, and they got the camera out. It's just sad how much attention these people want. Like, Austin is so excited about dropping his daughter off to school in this car. He's like giggling the whole time, and he keeps asking her like, what are your friends gonna think? Like, in this clip right here, of course they have to stop at Starbucks before they drop her off to school, but he's talking to her. He's like, so what are your friends gonna have to say about this? And even she's like, I don't even think they're gonna care.
What are your friends gonna say when you pull up in a Lambo to school?
They're gonna be playing.
Oh, they're gonna be playing? So they're not gonna be paying attention to you?
See, she doesn't even seem very interested in it. She's probably like, why are you so obsessed with this? Like, we're kids. We just like to play. Like, if you had a toy car, it'd be more impressive. This guy's just trying way too hard, and it seems like he's doing everything because he wants to do it. Like, I don't think his daughter was really dying to be brought to school in this car. I mean, maybe she was, but she really seems like she doesn't really care. And this just seems desperate. Like, this guy's trying to seek validation from 5-year-olds. And also, it feels like this guy could be living vicariously through his kid right here, because I don't think this guy had much money growing up, and obviously he really likes spending money and having nice things. So I'm sure when he was younger and in high school, he's probably thinking like, man, it'd be so sweet to have a nice car to drive to school and impress everyone. And now that he has money, or he acts like he has money at least, this is the closest thing he can get to that. Like his wife said, this is a dream of his, and he did this like the first opportunity he got. Like, his daughter's in freaking elementary school or first grade. Like, you really couldn't wait any longer, and he just seems way too excited to do this. Like, this does seem like something he's been thinking about for a while, and it just seems like a dream of his when he was younger was probably driving to school with a nice car and impressing everyone. And obviously most people would want to do that, like impress all their friends at high school. But now it just seems like this guy is trying way too hard to get that feeling, and it just seems really desperate. Like, no parent needs to try to impress their 5-year-old daughter's friends with a Lamborghini. And it's kind of dangerous driving with a daughter that young in the passenger seat. And at one point he's holding his camera out the window like to film his wife behind him, and it just seems like this probably isn't the safest move here, and it doesn't really make it look like you have the best parenting skills. Like, I'm pretty sure his daughter should still be in a booster seat, and instead she's sitting sitting in the passenger seat of a Lamborghini, and while Austin's driving, he's trying to film everything and like talk to her. It's just like, dude, how about you just focus on the safety of your kid? It just seems like everything's all about him and him getting good content. So let's continue on with the video now. So they're getting closer to the school, so Austin's obviously getting really excited, which that does not sound good, but that's what's happening right now. This is just some crazy behavior here. I mean, I don't watch their channel a lot, so maybe he's always like this, but this is just creepy. Like, he seems way too excited here just to show off a Lamborghini to a bunch of elementary school kids.
Looking. Oh, look at the kids. Look at your friends. Oh my gosh. What are you gonna tell him? You should say you got dropped off in an Uber. You gonna say that? Yeah. I love you.
I mean, what is this? Like, what is with that giggling? His daughter seems like she's just over it at this point. She's like, just drop me off already. I just want to go into school. I don't give a shit about the car anymore. He's honestly making it seem like this is a highlight of his life right here. Like, everything he's worked for all comes to this, and he can finally show off his car to a bunch of fucking kindergartners. But unfortunately for him, no one even cares. And it's kind of sad because this is a dream of his, I guess, and he's been looking forward to this for such a long time, and he can't even get a reaction out of anyone. And it's just pathetic. He is way too excited about this. So now I'm just gonna play the rest of the video where he actually parks the car and his daughter gets out and she's about to go in, and of course Austin is looking for anyone to come check out his car, and he's like sees one person, he's like, oh, is that your friend over there? Look at, they're checking out the car. And his daughter honestly just seems pretty annoyed and maybe even embarrassed.
Got your back. Look at your friend over there. Your friend over there is looking at you. Is that your friend?
No, that's not my friend. They're in a different class.
The kid's probably looking at him because he's got a camera shoved in his daughter's face. I wish he recorded some parents' reactions to this. They probably think he's out of his mind. His daughter just got out of the passenger seat of a Lambo to go to fucking kindergarten, and now he's shoving a camera in her face, and there's like a pink Tesla behind him. Like, what is going on here? These people are just so desperate for attention. There's more to life than just showing off expensive shit. And this probably isn't the best impression to make on your daughter, because you're making it seem like everything's just all about status and how much money you have and impressing people with your wealth. And also, when parents are really rich, they usually like to make sure that their kids stay humble and like they don't really try to show off too much. Like any normal parents, when they're dropping off their kids to school, don't want to make a giant scene about how much money they have. Their daughter seems more grounded than they are. Like, she doesn't seem like she really cares about any of this Lambo stuff. I mean, because she's a kid, like all she wants to do is just go hang out and play with her friends. Thank God, because if she was going along with all this Lamborghini stuff and trying to get her friends to come check it out, like that'd be kind of weird. A 5-year-old shouldn't be worried about impressing their friends with their dad's Lamborghini. I honestly feel like Austin's losing his mind here with this video. It seems like to me he's like always just wanted to have money and cars and cool shit, and now he has it all and he just doesn't really know what to do, so he's like trying to impress 5-year-olds. This is just ridiculous. I feel so bad for this kid, because I'm sure most parents dropping off their kids see her dad and are like, this guy's just a tool. Like, who the hell would drive their daughter to school in a Lamborghini when she's 5 years old? It's like Austin wants his daughter to look like some rich snobby kid, because you don't want your kid going to school bragging about how much money your parents have and how they drive nice cars. But from this video, obviously Austin wants her to tell all of her friends that he drives a Lamborghini. This is just not the message you want to send to your kid when she's really young. You don't want her thinking that money's everything and cars are everything, and the goal is just to impress everyone with your money. If you already have a ton of money, you should be teaching your kid to be more humble and tell them that money's not everything. If you're rich, you do not want your kid to think that they're better than everyone just because they have money. And this is kind of the message that Austin's sending to his 5-year-old daughter. So now I just want to play one more part of the video where Austin sees some kids behind a fence who he thinks are looking at his car.
Hey Sammy, look at the kids. Do you guys like Elle's car? Okay. Okay, let's go.
So this is really the only reaction he could get out of anyone. Some kids behind a fence that I don't even think they could see through it. So I'm sure this is disappointing for him, because he was so excited to have a bunch of kids check out his car, and this is the closest thing he could get to that. And it looks even worse because this guy's probably in a lot of debt right now, and he could lose his house, so he should not be driving around and flaunting a Lamborghini when you're about to lose your house. If it is true that they're losing their house next month, like, this is a terrible thing to be doing. Like, driving your daughter to school in a Lamborghini and trying to show it off when you're about to lose lose your freaking house. This guy really needs to get his priorities straight. If you don't have the kind of money for these things, do not buy them and don't be flaunting them. It's just pathetic. And it's just embarrassing for his daughter because he's dropping her off in this really nice car, so parents and kids are gonna be like, oh, he has a ton of money. Or they realize that he doesn't have that much money and he's really just in a bunch of debt and he's like not paying his mortgage and shit. So it just looks terrible for these people because he's driving around in a $300,000 car and he could lose his house next month. Like, it looks like he's just terrible with his money and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And it looks like all he cares about is showing off and trying to impress people, which is true. But I hope this guy can keep his house and I hope he's in a good financial position for the sake of his kids. It would not be a good look driving your 5-year-old kid to school in a Lambo and then losing your house next month. I hope Austin realizes after this that he should be a little more humble and life's not all about money and showing off cars and expensive items. So that's about it for this video. Make sure you leave me a comment, let me know what you think of this mess, and then hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.